Hello and welcome to Glasgow Rangers Nation. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Depends obviously when you are picking up this video. Well, look, it's the international break. Yawn, boredom. Boredom is incoming, guys. Boredom is very much incoming when it comes to international football. But the rumour mill, the gossip clock continues ticking. Is there a gossip? Do you have a gossip? Anyway, let's have a gossip clock. Let's have a gossip clock. It keeps on ticking when it comes to who is going to be the next Rangers manager. And today we'll talk about that. We're going to talk about who are the potential candidates in a minute that seem to be on the shortlist, that seem to be kind of rumoring but firming a little bit. We'll talk about that in a minute. But let's just talk about something else first. You know what? Rangers social media, Rangers X, Twitter, Rangers Instagram, Rangers Facebook, Rangers Threads, Rangers TikTok, Rangers, whatever it is, nearly went into absolute meltdown today. Again, until Heart and Hand. Thank God for Heart and Hand and Chris Jack dispelling this straight away. Thank God, guys. Well done, David Edgar and Heart and Hand. Brilliant organisation, fantastic podcast, fantastic people at Heart and Hand. But managed to get rid of this rumour and squash this rumour stone dead right there and then. Yes, it was the rumour regarding this man here. Now, John Eustace, who has previously been linked with the job, has previously been suggested as a possible future Rangers manager. Now, he was sacked, but initially it said that he had left Birmingham by mutual consent. It then came out that Birmingham had sacked John Eustace. And therefore, straight away, John Eustace shot to the top of the bookies betting, as therefore it must be that Rangers are about to appoint John Eustace as manager because he has left Birmingham. Now, he was sacked as Birmingham manager harshly, in my opinion, very, very harshly. I think it's because they want Wayne Rooney as their manager, who will either get them relegated or take them up. I think Birmingham currently sits sixth in the championship with 5 wins, 3 draws, 3 defeats. Their last time out, in their last game out, they beat West Brom 3-1. The game before that, they won 4-1 against Huddersfield. So, sacking him to me seems exceptionally harsh from the Birmingham board, although it is a new board there. They're probably looking for their own man. But, straight away, the rumour mill went into overdrive because he's been sacked as Birmingham manager. It's because he's talking to Rangers and he's going to become the next Rangers manager. Well, thank God it's not true. It's not happening. Look, I'm sure John Eustace is a very good manager. I'm sure that John Eustace can be a very good manager, but he's another project. He's another rookie manager, an up-and-coming manager, something that we do not need at the club. We know we need an experienced manager. We don't need an up-and-coming manager. We don't need a rookie manager. We don't need a project manager. We need someone who has got experience of winning trophies, someone who's done it at the highest level, someone who knows how to win leagues. Philippe Clement, Kevin Muscat, for instance, maybe, possibly. Hey, the other name that suddenly started doing the rounds after that was Scott Parker, who in this photograph looks like a character from the film Kingsman. Those of you who remember the film Kingsman, although I do think Scott Parker will probably get the crap kicked out of him. Scott Parker, who has managed Fulham, managed Bournemouth with relative degrees of success, has failed a number of jobs. One of his positives is the fact that he doesn't take any crap off the players and is not afraid to call his players out, which obviously is a massive positive. Especially with our players, given there's a number of our players who are currently very much stealing a living. But we're not going to talk about that today because I don't want to upset certain groups and individuals. He was the Fulham manager. He had a 35% win ratio, not great. A 50.9% win ratio as the Bournemouth manager. A little bit unfairly sacked, in my opinion. As Club Brugge manager, he managed them for 12 games, was sacked in March and had a 16.7 win percentage. Now, but thank God as well, he has been ruled out. Scott Parker will not be the manager and will not be and is not even in the consideration of the Rangers board. Another name wiped away. So with Lampard gone, with Eustace gone, with Parker gone, who's left? Who's left? That's the question you're asking, is it? Who is left? What are the names on the shortlist? Well, it seems to me that the guys who seem very much at the top of the list, according to what I've read, according to what I've heard, according to sources that I have tapped up, Kevin Muscat is still very much in the reckoning for the job. Rumors came out the other day, didn't they? And look, this story, this whole thing is full of rumors, full of clickbait, full of speculation, full of just vitriol and words, and just it's mental, isn't it? But it's what happens when one of the biggest clubs in the world are looking for a new manager. Now, it was said that he wouldn't come until December if he was appointed, because he wants to stay with Yokohama Marinos to the end of their season and help them win another J-League title. However, as it was revealed by Heart and Hand and another number of other organisations, that was untrue, and if he was appointed, he would come to Glasgow straight away. So that's positive, isn't it? And look, Muscat has his positives. He is a very good manager. He's had success in Australia, success in Japan. He plays a very similar sort of style to Ange Postecoglou, which we know works in this country. Very attacking, high press, in your face, high fullbacks, inverted wingers. We haven't got any wingers, so that could be a problem. But, it's certainly a very aggressive, exciting, attacking style that Muscat plays. Certainly something that, Rangers have been crying out for. Now, I got slaughtered again the other day. I dared to suggest that Rangers didn't play well on Sunday. Yes, they won 3-0. Yes, they got a clean sheet. Yes, the fanboys' favourite player scored 2 goals. Yes, we won the game. And 3 points is great. It's fantastic. We were playing St Mirren, who were made to sound like some fans, like prime Real Madrid. But the performance itself was, and I agree with the Club at 22, what they said on their pod the other day, turgid, pedestrian. It was awful. It was awful. Yeah, I've got happy clappers telling me that I was watching a completely different game to them. Well, I'm sorry, you're wrong. And I think the vast majority of those fans that actually know football and watch the game recognise that performance for what it was. Slow, turgid, pedestrian, too much backwards passing, too much sideways passing, not enough emphasis on getting the ball forward, not enough emphasis on playing with pace. If you're going to break down teams that play with low block, if you're going to break down teams that are intent on defending, you have to attack at speed. You have to attack at pace. If you don't, you allow them to reset, to adjust, to reset, to adjust, and you cannot get through them. So for me, a dreadful, not a dreadful performance, but not a good performance at all. Another turgid display, which basically shows that whoever it is that is the new manager who comes in has one hell of a job on their hands to turn this around, especially given the fact that we are carrying more than a few passengers. Yes, that man, Searle, who, you know what, I suggested on Twitter yesterday that he could work at McDonald's, but then someone pointed out to me he'd be too slow for that. So that's actually a point. So he can't, Dessers can't play football. Dessers fine. Look, I know, perhaps I'm being harsh. I know Searle Dessers finds things difficult. And you know what? If people find things difficult, we should help them overcome those difficulties. But it's just he finds controlling the football hard. He finds staying on side hard. He finds scoring goals hard. In fact, he finds playing football hard. So you got to question why he's even on the team. But there we go. Anyway, the other name that seems to be doing the rounds at the moment that is very much a favoured name amongst Rangers fans and amongst the media is Philippe Clement, the former Monaco, Club Brugge and Genk manager. Certainly someone who is attracting an awful lot of attention. Someone who has got a track record of success. Someone who's managed in Belgium, managed in France, has a wide and varied CV, has experience at playing European football, has experience at playing Champions League football and doing reasonably well. Like, yeah, okay, he didn't win it, but, hey, now people have criticised the win percentages of these guys, of Muscat, which I think is 56, and Clement, which is 58, I think it is. But look, at the end of the day, and then they compare them to Walter Smith, to Victor Dick Advocat. You're not comparing apples with apples or oranges with oranges there. You're comparing apples and pears and nectarines and plums. The SPL is quite unlike any other league in terms of the dominance that two teams have and the percentage you build up in terms of win percentage. You look at the EPL and the only guy who's kind of a bit of a freak is Pep Guardiola, whose win percentage is 75%. But, even Sir Alex Ferguson, who was a great manager, his was 58, under 60%. You've got to deal with it in terms of the fact the Belgian league, the French league, the A League, the J League, the Eredivisie is not like the SPL. I mean, the Eredivisie in particular is a hell of a lot tougher league than the SPL. You've got Feyenoord, you've got AZ, you've got Ajax, you've got PSV, you've got Twente, all teams that can, on their day, put up a decent fight and cause each other troubles. In Belgium, you've got Genk, you've got Bruges, you've got Standard Liège, you've got Antwerp, you've got Anderlecht. All teams, again, who can compete, more teams competing with each other than there is in Scotland. So I think, to call into question their win percentages is a little bit suspect. Clement does appear to be someone who is attracting a lot of attention, someone who apparently has been interviewed by Rangers and is apparently going to be called back for another interview. Now, that's what the media is saying, but how true that is, I don't know. Look, I don't know. Unfortunately, I haven't got any contacts, that are directly in media groups or, well, even more, actually, let's forget the media. Look, I don't know anyone in the club, unfortunately. I haven't got access to the club yet. That is a plan for me to get some media access at some point, if they'll let me. But look, Clement is a good manager. He's a very good manager. You've got to look at the fact that he's won league titles in Belgium. He has won cups in Belgium. He's managed the Champions League. He plays with a high press. He plays with a 4-2-3-1 formation, something that Rangers are very used to. He plays attacking football. He plays aggressive football. All sorts of things we need to see from this club. So Clement is certainly someone who is moving forward, I think, in terms of that appointment, and certainly does seem to be very popular. Well, let's say growing in popularity amongst the fans. And what's been quite remarkable, I think, with this whole managerial search is there's kind of been no one candidate that has stood out and everyone's gone, yeah, we've got to get him. We've got to have him. He's the man for the job. We haven't seen that at all. But Clement does seem to be growing in popularity. And guys, before you say he ain't French, he's Belgian, so stop doing the Le Guen comparisons. Completely different cake. Absolutely. Now, another name that won't go away, but it is felt that would be very difficult to get him out of his job, especially as he does appear to be attracting interest from elsewhere, is AZ manager, AZ Alkmaar manager Pascal Jansen. AZ, who beat Ajax recently. Another very talented, very good manager who currently has AZ sitting second in the Eredivisie behind PSV Eindhoven, who are, a decent side, apparently. That's what I've been told. I was told I was wrong, calling them average. But, again, a good manager, someone who appeared to, though, rule himself out, saying that it was virtually impossible to get him out of his contract. It does appear, like I said, there is interest from elsewhere in Jansen. Look, so Jansen is kind of an outsider. Glasner is another name that's been discussed. Knutsen, who is very popular amongst a number of Rangers fans, personally don't get the attraction. Yes, he's beaten Celtic twice in Europe, but let's face it, it ain't hard to beat Celtic in Europe. Everyone does it. But for me, it does seem that this is coming down, from what I'm reading, from what I'm hearing, to a race between Clement and Muscat. And look, I know I'm probably going to have egg on my face in 48 hours or 2 days, for 3 or 4 days' time when it's announced that somebody else is the manager. But it does appear to be coming down to a straight fight between Kevin Muscat, former Rangers player, current Yokohama manager, and former Bruges, Genk and Monaco manager Philippe Clement. Someone who wouldn't cost Rangers any compensation either, because the guy is not in work at this moment in time. So, look, who's your preferred candidate out of those? Or is it none of the above? And if it is none of the above, who do you want instead? Derek McInnes, is he someone you'd like to see at the club? Stephen Robinson of Motherwell, is he someone else you'd like to see at the club? Or, is there a name that we've kind of overlooked completely? A name that that is out there that Rangers haven't thought of and we haven't thought of yet here on the channel. Look, like I said, for me, it's down to a race between Muscat and Clement, if reports are to be believed. And I do know we need that little pinch of salt with every report. But look, if it's a decision between those two, personally, I'd like to see Clement come in. I think he's got the track record. I think he's got the experience. I think he knows how to deal with big players. Thomas Buffel, former Rangers player, was singing his praises the other day, talking about his training methods, talking about how he gets teams ready, how he puts his teams out on the park, how his teams play. Thomas Buffel spoke very highly of Philippe Clement. So he, to me, seems like a really good bet as manager. But look, what do I know? Look, I'm not appointing him. This is James Bisgrove, John Bennett, and allegedly Graham Souness has had an input as well onto the decision, even though there's a number of fans that seem to be very much disrespecting our former great manager, our former Rangers legend, well, actually no, present Rangers legend, Graham Souness, who achieved so much with our club and kind of started with that revolution, didn't he, of the turnaround of the club. And, calling him into question, calling him a dinosaur, calling him names, I think he's really bad form and actually does lack a lot of class if you're doing that. So please don't stop. This guy is a Rangers legend. Like I said, I'd love to know who you think should be the next manager. That is very much the talking point at the moment, is it? Who is it? Who is it not? Well, it appears that it's not Eustace, it's not Parker, it's not Lampard. Few. It could be Pascal Janssen. It could be Philippe Clement. It could be Kevin Muscat, even not Mascot, Kevin Muscat. And it could even be, I suppose, outsiders, Glasner or Knudsen are outsiders for this job, or so it appears at this moment in time. Like I said, let me know in the comments who you would like to see as manager. No game now until the 21st against Hibernian. We're going to carry on, obviously, bringing you all the news coming out of the club about the management, about the injury situation, about any of the news that breaks around Ibrox. Thanks for watching Glasgow Rangers Nation. And as always, on the way out, well, there's actually 3 things I need you to do. Number 1 is subscribe to the channel. It helps us keep growing. But more importantly, number 2, things I need you to do. Number 1, smash the like. And number 2, remember, we are the people.